Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. My name's Josh. Thanks for being here today. I really appreciate you today because we're just catching up on the Tiffany Rockelle Smith situation. There's an article that was released in the Los Angeles Times. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on, keep you updated on that story because it's going to be a very, very, very big lawsuit that's going to be coming up. That's probably going to set precedent for a lot of big things on YouTube, specifically the exploitation of children online. So, let's go. The Los Angeles Times released an article called Inside the Blockbuster Lawsuit Threatening One Teen YouTube Star's Multi-Million-Dollar Empire. And if you haven't, you need to go back and look at my videos on Tiffany Rockelle Smith or Piper Rockelle. It's one of the scariest stories on YouTube. Piper has been exploited since she was little, and she makes her mother millions upon millions of dollars. Not only that, the lawsuit alleges a bunch of crazy things like SA and very inappropriate things. We did a video where her and Hunter were arguing about another teen. Tiffany acts like a teenager. It's really, really weird.
Well, Peggy, I don't want her in the squad anymore. They're done.
Tiffany, stop.
You didn't hear the way she spoke to me.
Yes, because you didn't give a warning of something that you should have given a warning of.
I can't warn her. She tells her kid everything.
Okay, well,
She told her kid about my $30,000 trip to Hawaii.
I understand, but this is why we explained to her, look, you can't blow this kind of stuff. We fix it. You don't just kick people out of the squad, because then who are you?
Parents aren't given access to the house, and you'll see that in the lawsuit and in this article it shows up. I mean, it's just bananas. The videos that the one video I did, I talked about the two girls that were like literally, it looked like a Playboy centerfold, and the girls were 13 years old. Filmed in slow motion, gyrating in bikinis. Filmed by Tiffany's boyfriend, who's like 25 or 26. There's allegations that they have someone named Alex on the inside of YouTube that helps destroy other channels and helps their channel grow. And if that's the case, YouTube doesn't want that out there. If there is ever an allegation and someone has someone on the inside of YouTube that is helping them get money, that's fraud in the millions and millions and millions of dollars. And so I don't think we're ever going to hear anything about that, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what's going on in this alleged lawsuit. But at its core is the exploitation of children online, and these kids don't have educations, they don't go to school, they're groomed to be stars, all of them, not just Piper, all of these kids. And so yes, at this point, the parents, it's basically the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And I don't agree with anything that they're doing either, because all these kids serve. And I mean, some of the parents are already wealthy, and so the kids make their own money, and that's fine. But some of them aren't. But if you groom your children to be famous, I have serious questions about your viability as a parent. Because why would you want that for your child? Are you out of your mind? So, without further ado, let's read this article. It's by Amy Kaufman and Jessica Gelt. Piper Rockelle looks like the kind of girl who'd offer you a seat at her table in the cafeteria. Cute and approachable with an easy smile. More Fashion Nova than Gucci. IG filled with kittens and her boyfriend. Her ability to be at once aspirational and relatable has helped attract 10 million subscribers to her YouTube channel. With a 15-year-old social media star has earned up to $625,000 a month, sharing carefully curated snippets of her neon-colored world. Sometimes she sings or dances. She's good, but not intimidatingly so. Mostly her fans come for the soapy reality show fun she has with her friends. That's all the drama that she creates, and it's really inappropriate, by the way. Don't let your kids watch this shit. Their group called The Squad lip syncs to bubblegum pop music and documents their pranks. Piper pretends she has amnesia, challenges, becoming mom for the day, and crushes. Last to stop kissing boyfriend wins $10,000. And it'd be interesting to see if those videos actually somebody won $10,000. In Piper's universe, there aren't any final exams or broken hearts that can't be fixed with a hug or a trip to Candy Factory. That was the case at least until January, when a bombshell lawsuit alleged that Piper's life is more mommy dearest than Mouseketeer. Ooh, that's a good one. In the suit, 11 former squad members, including 2 of her cousins, claim they were frequently subjected to an emotionally, physically, and sometimes sexually abusive environment perpetrated by Piper's mom, Tiffany Rockelle Smith. On and off set during that time spent with her company, Piper Rockelle Inc., Smith denies the allegations. Of course she denies. What did she say? These are right. The lawsuit offers an unsettling glimpse into a largely unregulated world of social media, where children spend long hours cranking out videos and branded content. Kids can make millions of dollars and become online celebrities, but because the content is made in the privacy of their own homes, child labor laws, which do apply to social media influencers, are not consistently enforced. And we've been talking about this for a long time. Pretty sure Tiffany had to change the way she was doing things because she wasn't doing it properly until she was called out by some of these parents. But it's a little bit too late. If these parents have documented that these kids were overworked and she did not follow these rules, she's going to be on the hook for millions and millions of dollars. Now, Tiffany and Hunter, it doesn't seem like they live like a lavish lifestyle of like spending, and maybe they do. Maybe they have investments. I don't know, but it looks like their days are spent with these teenagers. All day, every day, filming content. They might go on vacations here, they have vehicles and stuff, they have homes, but it doesn't look like they're like, doing drugs or drinking hard alcohol or anything. But one of the weirdest things about this is that Tiffany has something like 60 cats or something. I had an inside source that would walk by their house and say, hey, look, there's 60 cats in there. And then we looked up the laws of the land where they were, and you're not supposed to have more than 5. And people would come to this house with their kids and say, it smells like piss. And could you imagine the smell? So woman has so many cats, it's insane. And so there's just so many things, laws being broken, child labor laws, which I think if you break child labor laws, I mean, you should go to jail for that shit, right? You should be protecting kids. But don't forget, this is in California. They don't give a shit about protecting kids. A Times investigation found that Smith, 41, operated a multi-million-dollar company that did not pay the children who filmed popular videos with their daughter, and that the children worked long hours without scheduled breaks or rest or meals and were not provided with regular on-set education, according to a review of dozens of court filings, emails, casting calls, talent releases, and filming schedules, as well as interviews with the plaintiffs and their parents. Many of the parents have accused Smith of violating labor laws and said she should have obtained permits and credentials that the state requires to work with minors. What they're talking about there is they would bring these kids in to Piper's World. They would like find these up and coming little kid influencers and say, hey, you want to be part of the squad? And in order to be part of the squad, she would do casting calls. The casting call would be like $150 for filming a day or whatever. And in the end, the agreement was, well, if you come on the show, we're not going to pay you, but your channel will explode and you'll make money. We'll help you make content. And they did. And those kids did make money doing that. And it was a contract they would sign. But they didn't get paid to be on the show. And as far as I'm aware, if you sign a contract, then you're stupid. But they did. And so these kids became famous because of the squad and made their own money. But if they ever went against the squad, and a lot of them did, their channels for some mysterious reason would collapse. Right? And that's Hunter and Tiffany allegedly doing something crazy behind the scenes to get them either mass flagged or they had someone on the inside doing that. Because some of these parents will tell you that they went from making $300,000 a month to less than $5,000 a month within weeks of crossing Tiffany and Piper. So they had this campaign of destruction if you didn't follow suit, and they weren't paid for any of that shit. It's crazy. Claims of sexual misconduct along with some other alleged behavior have drawn scrutiny from the FBI and the Los Angeles Police Department. That's crazy. The plaintiffs say the allegations exemplify why child labor laws are so important to protect kids performers from exploitation by their employer or their guardians. This isn't in defense of Tiffany, but I find that super ironic considering these are the parents pushing these kids into these worlds. Like, you can go ahead and get wrecked, you dumb assholes. You're doing it to your child as well. Just because you put them in with Tiffany, who is a bad person, yes, but you're also a bad person for putting your kid into this shit. So you're not free from the wrath of all this. You're just doing it legally, where she's done illegal shit. You're still bad because you're still exploiting your child. Imagine if these kids have been in a movie set for Lionsgate, said Matthew Sarelson, the lawyer for the plaintiffs. People would go to jail if this happened at a studio. Exactly. Tiffany's attorney, Kenneth Ingber, said the squad's work fell into a gray area of the law. See, he's lawyering. It's gray area. There should be never gray area when it comes to this. And I think a judge would see it's not gray area. Specifically when you look at the money that's being made. And, filming with proper equipment, you're doing sound, you're getting editors, you're using, you're hiring people, you're hiring, I don't even know if these kids got to eat, but you're hiring cops to be in this, you're hiring actors. She's not going to get away with it. No way. I mean, her lawyer's got to say that. That's all he has. Nonetheless, Smith says she did receive a permit to work with minors this year to avoid controversy and to reflect on maturing and evolving business. So they're going to say, well, we didn't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you made millions and millions of dollars, I hope a judge is going to be like, wow, okay, no problem then. I hope not. But that's how the law works with expensive lawyers. Hey, we didn't know. We were unaware. This is a gray area. Now we know it's not. Blah, blah, blah. We've fixed it. We've corrected. We've done course correction. That's what they're going to say. But I still don't believe it. None of these kids got educations. Like her daughter can't even write. Piper has no education, everybody. She might be endearing on camera and stuff, but she's not smart because she didn't get an education her whole life. Smith questions why she's being sued over an alleged lack of labor protections for minors who filmed at her house. Because they hate you, and you deserve to be hated, and you exploited kids. What? What do you mean you're asking why? Are you out of your mind? I've always strived to comply with the laws and never considered myself as an employer. When kids get together voluntarily to collaborate on making videos. Oh, is that all this is? They're just getting together for a play date while you make $630,000 a month? Is that just a play date? Look, I know I hate her and I hate this industry, but I hope a judge looks at that and says, no, nope. You think this is just for fun while you're making millions of dollars a year? Okay. I hope they laugh that shit right out of court. Smith questioned whether other parents had complied with labor laws on the videos their children made individually. For example, her attorney said, do all these plaintiffs have a permit to employ minors while filming their own content? No, they don't. And they're right. They're throwing those other parents under the bus, and they should because they deserve it. Even if it's your child, they still have to comply with child labor laws. So I hope all of these people are told to shut the shit down. I hope Tiffany goes to jail, but I also hope the parents of these other children are told, you're done. Stop. You're breaking the law too. And it's true. They all are. The answer is complicated. The parents said they abided by portions of the laws, but alleged in the suit that Smith was ultimately responsible for maintaining a professional operation because she was acting as their children's employer. That's where it's going to get her, and that's true. Now, they might be doing their own thing and breaking the law on their side, but that has nothing to do with this case, and the judge would, any judge worth their salt, in my opinion, would be like, that has no bearing here. We're talking about what Tiffany did, so we're going to stick to that. Were they working for Tiffany? Was she paying them? Did she put out a casting call? Yes, she did. Did she pay them? Probably a little bit. Or the promise of your own channel exploding is a form of payment. It's, exposure bucks, whatever you want to call it. So that's it. She's responsible for having their safety. She probably has insurance. She's responsible for hiring the actors, for feeding them, for doing all these things, for sets and schedules. She's responsible for all that. There's no way she's going to get around that. No chance. Piper seemed fragile during an interview, which she and her mother opted to conduct in their attorney's office over Zoom this fall, which means that they're talking to these people writing this article. The stark white walls behind the teenager provided a striking contrast to Piper's usually on-screen backdrop, the glittering pool, expansive rooms of $2.3 million mansion she bought from actress Bella Thorne in 2020. Gone was the positivity that Piper had mastered as well as any seasoned Disney Channel vet. She was scared and hurt, and she wanted to make something very clear. The plaintiffs in this lawsuit are out to get her, and no matter what they may say, they're not doing it for her own good. That's wrong and right. She's right. They're trying to get back at Tiffany for doing that. I don't think they're trying to get it back at Piper. Maybe the little girls have a little bit of a, beef. But in the end, if it does protect Piper, they are doing the right thing. They're trying to get Tiffany shut down and possibly put in prison because this is crazy what she has done, okay? That will, in the end, release Piper from her mother's grip, and that's good for Piper. It really is. If Piper knew it was good for her, if she saw what was coming down for her future, she would leave now. She's in for a world of hurt, alcoholism, drug abuse, essay from people in Hollywood. She is not in a good place, nor will she ever be. She's a target. She has 10 million followers. Hundreds of thousands of predators watch her. Okay? And she's got predators taking advantage of her now. Hunter, when you see the video, and I'll put it up here again, and it's all blanked, but you see that video, that Hunter filmed that. And he was like 22 or something, or 23 when he filmed this. These girls are 13. Doing this video. What does that tell you about who? Like, if I were a 25-year-old man, photographer, filming that for my girlfriend's daughter, how does this guy not? How does he have any friends? How does anybody is like, oh my God, you're a disgusting piece of shit, man? You should be in jail. You should be on a register somewhere. That is so highly inappropriate. Okay, so but I do agree with Piper in saying, oh, they're not doing it for me, they're doing it for them. It's true, they are. They're looking for money. They're looking to sue her for lots. They're looking for accountability. But I think the byproduct of all this is that Piper will be rescued from her mom, and that's a good thing. She says, these people don't love me, she said under the office's fluorescent lights, because if they did love me, they wouldn't be doing this. They don't love you. This is an industry rife with people who are exploiting children. What would they love? They don't love their own kids. Of course they don't love you. They love money. So she's right. Piper is the innocent. Like, guys, everybody thinks I'm coming after Piper. Piper's the innocent one here. These children, they're the innocent ones here. They're all the victims. Piper is a victim. But these people are making her out to be one of the perpetrators. But she can't be. She can't consent to anything going on. She is not a perpetrator. Like, just the fact that she stands up for mom doesn't make her a perpetrator. She has, what choice does she have? Piper is the victim, everybody. By this, she means threatening her family livelihood and reputation since the lawsuit was filed. YouTube has demonetized her channel, causing her to lose $300,000 to $500,000 a month. Court records show venues have scrapped her live tour dates, curtailing other form of revenue she's relied on since the end of 2019. That's just the way the world works. You're not free from the consequences of your actions. If there are 11 allegations of Tiffany doing SA and other things, it's up to these venues to be like, we don't want that smoke here. We don't want that shit here. And that's on them. That's fine. Because these allegations are from the kids. And again, people are stuck between a rock and a hard place here because do you believe the kids? Yes, you do. You do believe the kids. One of the hardest things I've ever done on this channel that was like the curse of curses was covering the Michael Long situation, where you had Sophie Long screaming in the back of the car for her life, just blood-curdling screams. That set the internet into like a frenzy. Okay, it divided so many people. To this day, it's still super divisive. And everybody's like, well, what do you think now? He's in jail because he tried to take his daughter away from all that stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I would do the exact same thing. Do you know why? Because I believe the child. And I will continue to believe the child. Because children don't have the voice. And so when they say something like that, and they're not acting, and they're saying something like this, they're saying to Tiffany, you believe the child. That's just your default mode, and that's where it should be. Cool? Their suit joins two others that were already wending their way through the courts. One was filed by Smith against former squad parent Caroline Fratacci for defamation and emotional distress. It's like a countersuit slapping so that she would lose, like she just has to spend money on, because Tiffany's flush with cash and these parents aren't. So she's just countersuing and it's not going to win it. In a response to the complaint, Fratacci claims Smith had sexually assaulted a 17-year-old boy. In a separate suit, a mother named Jonna Ray Ramirez said Smith helped her son legally emancipate from her in order to stay in the squad. If that's true right there, don't worry about anything else. If that is true, this woman, Tiffany, took a child from another person, convinced that child to leave that home and emancipate legally from them so they could make money off them. Oh my God, if that's true, and I have no reason to believe it's not. Holy shit. Might be legal to do so, but it's highly unethical and morally reprehensible. And then for the record, 6:04 p.m., December 18th, an earlier version of the story said former squad parent Caroline Fratacci sued Tiffany Smith. Smith sued Fratacci for defamation and emotional distress. But it is a suit filed by 11 former members of the squad that has placed the Piper Rockelle saga at the center of an explosive online controversy. The plaintiffs, all of whom are minors, allege in the lawsuit that Smith offered to show an 11-year-old girl how to perform oral sex, mailed Piper's underwear to men, and pretended to be raunchy version of the family's dead cat while inappropriately touching and harassing the children. We're talking fingers up bums. That thing really got me, where she was taking this kid to the post office and she's asking, what are you doing? She's like, I'm mailing her bra and panties to these men who pay for these things. I hope that there can be proof for that, because just on that alone, she needs to go to jail. Is that illegal? And if it's not, why is it not illegal to send your daughter's soiled underwear to men on the internet? The danger you're putting her in by doing that is immeasurable. And of all the things I've covered, all of these people are without any moral fiber whatsoever. But that, oh my God. Could you imagine yourself as a parent so desperate for money, even though you're already wealthy beyond anything else, sending your daughter, like 11, 12-year-old daughter, soiled underwear to men on the internet? Like, what? That's like serial killer. That's like serial killer level mentality shit. That's weird. And you don't need to do it because you are completely and utterly flush with cash. You are wealthy beyond anything. Why would you do that? To what end? And then the inappropriately touching and harassing children, that's going to come up. And I mean, it's going to be their word against hers. When 11 kids are saying this, I mean, shit, you're in for it. She should be going to jail, is what should be happening here. The former squad members are seeking at least $22 million in damages, in large part because they claim that after leaving the group, PRI, that's Piper Rockelle Incorporated, conspired to tank their channels by engaging in a variety of dirty tactics that caused them to lose money. The lawsuit remains in litigation with no hearing scheduled until 2023. I think it's April this year. All the parties involved in the case have lucrative business interests at stake. PRI was making $4.2 million to $7.5 million in revenue annually from social media advertising alone. According to court records, the plaintiff's YouTube revenues were lower but still substantial. The highest earning kid in the lawsuit was averaging $28,000 a month in revenue from his own channel that dropped to $4,800 a month after the minor left the squad. There's some inside shit going on, dudes. Mark my words. The money earned by the plaintiffs came from advertisements placed on their YouTube channels, not from PRI. Most squad members agreed to forego financial compensation from Smith's company, choosing instead to be paid with mentions of their social media handles in Piper's videos. They hoped if their subscriber bases grew, money from brand deals would follow. And it did. And so that's why I'm saying, you signed the contract, you're stupid. But they did. But when they left the squad, their shit tanked because of what Tiffany, Hunter, and this hidden guy named Alex possibly did to their channel. Or maybe they did like a downvoting bot farm in Russia or something. They did something. And it was like all of them. It wasn't just one. It was all of them. And when they put that all together and they can show you a timeline, when they left the squad, the money they were making, as soon as they left the squad, they're all going to show you this. I've seen some of it. You're going to see their analytics go poof. And I know it's not like 100% smoking gun, but how else do you explain that? When every single one of them, when they left with bad blood, all their shit fell apart. How do you explain that? When filming at Smith's home, the squad would first shoot videos for Piper's channel and then move on to creating content for their own YouTube pages that Piper appeared in. Smith points out that Piper did not receive money from the squad members for her contributions to the videos. But that wasn't the agreement. The agreement was that she would be in your videos so they would spike their channels. That was the payment. You were using Piper as payment too. That was the agreement. So what is she saying here? Smith contends that the suit is nothing more than an act of professional jealousy by showbiz parents whose kids aren't as successful as hers. Oh, the jealousy line. Get a effing grip. No, it's you owed them money and you didn't pay them what they were owed. The plaintiffs say they want to ensure that no other children have to endure what they saw as an abusive environment while making online content. Is the freaking squad still up? So Piper Rockelle's channel is still up. It has not been demonetized. It's still good. She still gains tons of subscribers. It's all still going pretty hefty. They deleted 62 million views. Something was deleted. I downloaded all of them though. And she's at about 63 million views a month. So she's still pulling in $700,000 a month easily. So it's all back to normal for them, but she's going to lose all that. I hope Tiffany goes to jail, by the way. And here's the thing that should scare everybody, okay? These kids that are still on these channels, and there's still so many of them, those parents of these children know of these allegations, probably know that their kid has suffered the same type of thing, and still allow their children to be on this damn show. Still allow their kids to be here. Like, encourage it. Just tell you everything you need to know about these parents. Those bunch of dickholes. And I'm going to cover all these parents to a degree, and someday we're going to hold them accountable. This whole case is based on lies that are driven by financial jealousy, said Smith. Financial jealousy of a 15-year-old girl. Yeah, but the 15-year-old girl isn't who makes the money. You do, Tiffany. She doesn't make any of the money. You make all the money. You own everything. All the allegations that they made of her, like sticking her finger up someone's bum or taking those things to mail to creepy old men, all that stuff. Are you saying all that's lies? None of it's true? It's just all completely made up? And how are you going to prove that? Good luck. When you go to court and say they're just jealous, you think a judge is going to be like, oh, she's probably right, they're jealous. You think that's going to be your why is that everybody's defense on social media? Holy shit, get a grip. The Times interviewed 7 of the plaintiffs and their parents who collaborated with Piper on hundreds of videos between 2017 and 2021. All of them quit the squad because of their concerns of the work environment. Beginning in April 2020, numerous concerned parents contacted various public officials. According to a Times review of dozens of pieces of correspondence, documents, pictures, and court records, complaints were lodged with the FBI, the LAPD, and the Department of Children and Family Services, and the Division of Labor Standards Enforcement, each reporting Smith's treatment of the minor children filming at her home. Here's what gets me. YouTube demonetized Piper Rockelle and then remonetized her. But nothing's changed. Why did they demonetize her? They demonetized her for a reason. Because the allegations were on the channel that she did. Was she forced to delete those videos before YouTube would reinstate her? Is that what's going on? Because that doesn't erase what she did. YouTube plays a role here. YouTube is responsible for this too. The plaintiff's parents said they realized the seriousness of the alleged sexual misconduct during the pivotal meeting with attorneys in September 2021. At the time, the parents were discussing the legal options regarding what they said were Smith's child labor violations and the possible sabotaging of their children's individual YouTube accounts. During that conversation, darker claims began to emerge. And that's when it became, me too. Oh my gosh, me too. The kids literally couldn't talk fast enough because they realized they had all of the same stories, said mother Ashley Rock Smith, noting that some parents began crying when hearing the allegations. Now, I think Ashley Rock Smith is Tiffany's sister. I think. I could be wrong. In July, Smith countersued the plaintiffs, alleging they engaged in a conspiracy to defame her and ruin PRA. Smith voluntarily dismissed the lawsuit in October. Right? She just countersuing because she wants to take their money. She wants them to waste money on lawsuits. But she dropped that. Why? What agreement was made behind the scenes? That's what I'm asking. Piper bypassed the traditional paths of Nickelodeon and Disney to become a millionaire through the monetization of her social media content. Guys, this article is wrong here. Piper is not a millionaire. Tiffany is the millionaire. If this article is correct, they didn't even have Coogan and shit like that until last year. So where's all the... I mean, I'm sure she has money and maybe the promise of money, but there's no legal avenue for Piper to access a penny of that if Tiffany doesn't want her to. Propelled by the force of millions of likes and heart emojis, Piper was making between $4.2 million and $7.5 million a year before the squad's lawsuit. Her YouTube videos have amassed over 1.87 billion views, and companies such as NBC, Universal, Disney, and Amazon were paying her to promote their products on Instagram. Wow. TikTok Super VIP tickets on her tour, a live variety show that trades on the squad's online personas, went for $600 a pop. She was also selling merchandise on her website, offering personalized greetings via Cameo, which is super creepy, and making music. She has released 7 singles. Here's the house right here if you're wondering where all the cats live. 60 cats in this house. Still, by YouTube standards, she's still actually middle class. As crazy that sounds, said Eugene Lee, chief executive of Channel Meter, a San Francisco-based creator management and payment platform. Like many YouTube content empires, PRI was built at home. Before they bought Thorne's house, Piper and her mother rented 1920s house in Hollywood Hills, living there with Smith's boyfriend, Hunter Hill, 26, who's also defending the squad's lawsuit. Yeah, I hope he goes to jail too. Hunter Hill, who was also defending the squad's lawsuit, filmed and edited their videos. His voice is omnipresent in Piper's output, a playful older brother type, prompting the kids with questions or narrating. And again, they claimed that he was her brother for so long. Nobody knew that. All along, he's playing the brother, but he's the mom's boyfriend. The Times has reviewed rough schedules that were texted to squad parents by Smith the night before shoots. In those messages, she relayed the hours their kids were needed and the titles of the videos to set filming. In videos, the children can be seen doing ordinary kid things, jumping on trampoline, hanging out in a manicured backyard, or doing fashion shows in the garage. What ends up on screen gives the appearance of laid-back fun. And Smith maintained she did not view her home as a workplace. Well, that doesn't matter. It was. Doesn't matter what you view it as. There's tremendous uncertainty about what labor laws apply in the context of filming a YouTube video at home with an iPhone, said Smith's lawyer. At what point is it a professional production? Well, let's take a look at the word professional. Did you make money doing it? Then you're professional. Okay. Good lawyering, though. I'm like some jackass in a basement in Canada. And that's all it takes. You're making money. And you're not filming with an iPhone, you damn liars. We have video of her shooting with her freaking Sony. They're not filming with an iPhone. And even if you did, it doesn't matter what you're filming with. Has no bearing whether or not you're making money. But that's going to be their defense. Well, we didn't know. You didn't know after making $7 million a year? You just didn't know. Just whatever. Ingber says he believes PRI has done nothing wrong on the labor front, noting the company's changed its policies to adhere to child labor laws because the world is changing. And let's face it, we're in a lawsuit, so we're going to be a little bit more careful. Let's face it, we got called out and we're trying to change that so we don't get shit on. You're getting shit on, and you should be getting shit on. If anything, this needs to be a case of precedent so that they change the laws around kids on social media. I hope so. That's not to say that we were wrong not to have them years ago, he added. That's just highly, highly debatable. Well, I guess we're going to find that out. Man, I hope these plaintiffs have a good damn lawyer, or 2 or 3. Sarelson, the lawyer for the plaintiffs, argues that PRI should be treated no differently than a traditional production company and hopes the lawsuit sparks change and that's what I think. I hope that should spark change in social media. I think there's an important avenue where this and other cases are headed. Yep. In California, which has some of the strictest child performer regulations in the country, protections for children on set include a maximum 8-hour workday, 3 hours per weekday of on-set school instruction, 3 hours of those 8 hours, by the way, everybody, and a state-licensed studio teacher welfare worker present at all times during production. She had none of that. She probably to this day doesn't have any of that. The state also mandates the adults employing children must obtain permits to do so, and that 100% of a child's earning belong to that child. I didn't know that. Smith says she did set aside Piper's money. A parent or guardian must also be within sight and hearing range of minor at all times. And we know she didn't do that. She says she stuck them in the guest house. She said, you're not allowed to be in here. She's going down, man. Holy shit, she's going down. The Times found indications that PRI was operating as a professional production company. Hill says his videos were shot mostly on a professional Sony 7R. In 2019, an audition was posted in LA casting, which was used to find kids to act with Piper for a show called Hollywood Homeschool. The part called for a 10 to 13-year-old to play an actor who'd moved to Hollywood, with his or her overbearing stage mom, who was forced to be the adult in their reversed mother-child relationship. The child who was offered the part was asked to have their guardian sign off on minor release stating, performer desires to appear in one or more videos with Piper. There it is. There's so many casting calls out there. There's so much paper trail to this lawsuit. They are effed 7 ways to Sunday, and I'm here for it. Between 2017 and 2021, squad members filmed videos at Smith's home for up to 12 hours a day, said 5 of the plaintiff's parents. They also said she regularly forbade other adults from being on set. Boom. Don't care if you didn't. The rules were in place before. Doesn't matter if you didn't know that they were there. You're going down. Smith said adults were welcome on set and that a guest house was available for them during filming. She added that making Piper's videos took 2 to 4 hours and that the additional filming squad members did after was up to them. Any other time that the kids spent was either socially or making videos that were uploaded to their own channels for profit. Doesn't matter. They're still working and they're at your place of business. According to several squad parents, Smith briefly hired a set teacher named Jacqueline Moen. The Times reviewed text in which Moen was introduced to parents as a teacher, but she taught only a couple of sessions, parents said. Moen declined an interview request. Smith said Moen did not return because of the objections of a squad parent. Smith said she did not feel responsible for the education of the other kids in the squad, noting that their parents were each responsible. Nope. You're hiring them, Tiffany. That's the law. Stop breaking the law, asshole! None of the squad kids attended traditional school. They completed their coursework through the online programs. In March, some parents tried to bolster their children's education by hiring private charter tutor Linda Rybuck. She set up Smith's guest house, working with 2 of the performers in private hour-long sessions. But according to Rybuck, Smith was uninterested in the children's education. The teacher recalled a day when she was mid-lesson and Smith barged into the room and began screaming at her. Rybuck said that Smith instructed her pupil to report to set immediately, and she didn't care whether the tutor's hour wasn't up. It was her house, Smith said in an expletive-laden rant, and she controlled what went on in it. You're going down. You would have thought I was stealing something and I was a thief, Rybuck said in an interview, adding that the confrontation left her in tears. She caught me so off guard because who would treat me like this or talk to me like this? Have you ever seen Tiffany? Rybuck did not return. One mother, however, had the tutor continue to work with her child off-site. Smith called the characterization of her interactions with Rybuck incorrect, but she did not elaborate. We don't believe you. All we have to do is look at that video that police officer reported. She's just like that. Squad members say they never saw Piper do schoolwork and they claim she had difficulty reading. Plaintiffs say Smith forbade others from talking about school or doing homework in front of Piper because it made her feel bad. And that Piper got help when she had to read any text in a video. Her kid can't read. She's 15 and can't read. That should scare everybody. That is abuse, everybody. That's abuse. She would have her boyfriend read it to her and then she'd say it in the videos, said another former squad member named Sawyer, who joined in February 2020 and stayed for roughly a year. Smith denied this, calling it another mean-spirited personal attack. Okay. Piper's aunt, Patient Rock Smith, recalled clashing with her sister Tiffany over Piper's lack of schooling when the child was around 9. Patience, come on my show. Which Smith has disputed. I'm like, you have to put her in school, Tiffany, and Patience said, and she has a right to an education. Tiffany Smith said she was hurt that her sister would bring up Piper's reading and that Piper has been homeschooled all her life. But we can see Piper's whole life on camera on YouTube. Where's the schooling happening? Piper added, I'm dyslexic and it gets hard on me. It's really hard, and that really upsets me. The claims these people are making, they're very stupid. Well, then it sounds like you need extra support that you never got. Again, Piper is the victim. Homeschools in California are required by law to file annual private school affidavits to the Department of Education. According to the Education Department, Smith filed 2 affidavits for a private school called Easttown, first for 2017-2018 school year, and then for 2019-2020. The Times did not find any filings for 2018, 2019, and 21-22, according to department records, though Smith said she filed them. Uh-oh, you're in trouble. I'm going to California personally, if this is an open trial, and I'm going to sit there, and I'm going to live stream this shit every day if I can. Allegations of thwarted labor regulations are not uncommon in the fast-growing digital media sector. Influencer marketing investments are expected to grow $5 billion the next year, according to 2022 report by marketing firm Tracker. And so-called kidfluencers are significant players in this thriving industry. According to a 2019 report by the market research firm Morning Consult, 86% of millennials and Gen Zers are willing to post branded content for money, and 12 consider themselves influencers already. Although influencers may fall under the child labor laws established decades ago, it wasn't clear how those laws cover the new digital sets. So 4 years ago, Biz Parents Foundation, a nonprofit that advocates for professional child performers, lobbied for a bill in California that would make it crystal clear that social media performers were not exempt from the state rules. Sounds like I'm going to give some money to Biz Parent Foundation. That's what that sounds like to me. We'd started to hear chatter among the influencers that these laws didn't really apply to them because nobody was employing them, said Biz Parents co-founder Ann Henry. They were saying that they were just appearing as themselves, and that was somehow different. It's not different. The legislation Assembly Bill 2388, known as the Child Performers Act, social media influencers, became law in 2018 and required YouTubers to obtain entertainment work permits, among other mandatory protections. The new law also mandated that kidfluencers adhere to Coogan Law, which was passed in 1939 and named after child actor Jackie Coogan, whose parents spent all his earnings before he reached adulthood. Employers must put 15% of a child's total earnings into a special trust. If that's a law, and it sounds like it is a law right now, I wonder if by access to information we can find out if the Brants and any Ace family, all these people who use their children in their content in California, are adhering to these laws. Maybe it's time to do a deep dive into that, pay some people to do the research to find out if these kids are under Coogan, if they're following the laws, labor laws of California. If not, we can alert the authorities to that. Maybe it's time to start digging into that shit. That's an avenue of legal recourse we can have here as people. If everybody's like, well, what are you doing to fight this? Maybe this is one of those things we can do. Still, enforcement has been woefully inadequate, critics say, likening the situation to early days of Hollywood when labor abuses were rampant. YouTube spokesperson Jessica Gibby said in a statement that Piper's channel had violated its creator responsibility policy by engaging in off-platform behavior that harms the YouTube community. As a result, YouTube indefinitely suspended monetization when a creator collects 55% of revenue from ads featured on their page. But she's monetized now. So what changed is YouTube. So they said they did that, but nothing has changed. This lawsuit is still up in the air. Why would YouTube give her back her monetization? Interesting. In this case, Piper's mother, Tiffany Smith, who administers the earnings of this channel, is facing multiple allegations of child abuse and exploitation. We take these allegations seriously, Gibby said. Do you? So then why are these channels still on YouTube? You're not taking it seriously, Gibby. And I am somebody who benefits from YouTube and loves how YouTube protects its creators. I love that about YouTube. Okay? But Gibby can say the thing, but it's not the case when you're just allowing it to be rampant on your page. The Department of Industrial Relations, the state agency responsible for enforcing workplace labor regulations, was slow to take action on the complaints it received about Smith. According to emails reviewed by The Times, Deputy Labor Commissioner Rick Maya was notified of possible problems with PRI as early as April, but 2 years later in an email to Squad Parent, Maya said the investigation was still at the beginning phase. They don't care. They don't give a shit. That's the problem here, people. The earliest letter sent to the Division of Labor Standards Enforcement by a parent who asked to remain anonymous for fear of retribution from Smith complained about a squad shoot during COVID-19 lockdown and alleged ongoing child labor violations. The correspondence stated that Smith failed to obtain a permit to employ minors, did not provide water and snack breaks, and did not employ a said teacher. It also said Smith did not pay the kids who worked for her multi-million-dollar business. Man, I hope she goes to jail. We're halfway through this article. I didn't know it was going to be so damn long. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back tomorrow and finish this article off because this is a very, very in-depth story, very great written story, and we're getting to the bottom because there's a bunch of other creators that are going to be part of this that we're talking about for sure. So everybody take a deep breath. Thank you for being here. This is a really, really, really important conversation. Tiffany, in my opinion, after this article, like this shit is going to hit the fan. And these other people also need to be held accountable. If you're on Twitter, let's respond to these people. Why aren't you looking into these? Why aren't these kids being protected? What is taking you so long? Jeez. But thank you for being here, being a part of this conversation. Let's continue this tomorrow. I'll see you then.